In this video, we have the brand new Reefs RC Drift Gyro. We're going to be putting it in my 10 scale car to see how it performs, and because it's so small, we're also going to be putting it into the micro drift scale, all to see just how does this gyro do. Is it worth spending the money and buying it? If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name's Troy and this is Roadside RC. You'll tend to find me doing bashing and crawling and drifting and racing, plus product review videos and how-tos. And honestly, I love helping people get started in RC drifting, so I like to test products out like this. So as soon as I saw this new Reefs RC Gyro come out, had to pick one up. So far, from what I've seen from other people, is really two camps. One camp saying, it's Reefs RC, it's awesome, and loving it immediately. And the other camp saying, well, it kind of looks like it might be a rebranded like Hackslider Mini, and completely downplaying it. I bought one, and we're gonna see how it performs. To get this test started, I'm actually gonna drive my regular 10 scale drift car, which currently has a Futaba GYD550 gyro in it. Then I'm gonna swap this one over and see how it compares. Now let's be clear, the GYD550 is like one of the most expensive, fanciest gyros you can get. I don't expect the Reefs to really compare directly with it, but I have tested a lot of other gyros on the channel over time, so that's where we're going to be gauging it. We have a little programmer tool, a little wrench there. We have lots of different plugs to help us, it looks like, get to these micro plugs from a 10th scale if needed. So that is super helpful. Little external plugs there, that is good. The gyro itself, which, let's be clear, very, very small. Still metal cased, but it is nice that it's so small. Underneath this, Reefs RC sticker, plus some instructions there. I'm going to be reading over these instructions, and we're going to get some double-sided tape and stick this in the drift car for a test. I have the gyro just mounted right here with some double-sided tape right in the center of the chassis, free from vibrations, nice solid location. In order to hook it up to a 10th scale, you got to use the two provided adapters. They can only plug in one way. This female plug is the one that goes to the servo, and so you are going to plug that into my servo wire. Then these other two plugs, you will see both male plugs. One is a single wire, one is 3-wire. The single wire goes to channel 3 to control your gain, and the 3-wire goes to channel 1 for the servo, for the controller input into the gyro. With all that plugged in, we can now fire it up for the first time. I had some red blinky lights that went to solid, and I can hear the servo working just a little bit. I'm actually getting a little bit of twitch in my servo, which is probably not good. But we are going to start with, does steering work the correct direction? And yes, left is left, right is right. So that is good. Now we're going to take the rear of the car and move it. And you can see the gyro is actually working in the opposite direction, so we're going to need to reverse that. To reverse it, we just hold the switch for 4 seconds. And now the gyro actually works in the correct direction. Now the next thing that I usually like to do is, again, gyro does work. I like to then take my gyro gain down to 0 and make sure that it is in fact controlling it. See, now the gyro is not doing anything. So that is confirming that I am actually controlling it from the third channel. The next step is now going to be setting our gyro endpoint. So I have my steering endpoint set at 100 on the controller. I'm going to hold this switch down while I power it on, I should get some flashy lights there. Yep, so I have a flashing white light on the gyro itself. Hopefully you can see that. I am then going to steer one direction until I get to my max steering throw, and then I'm going to hit the button, flashy lights. I'm going to then go the other direction. Hit the button, flashy lights again. And when I release, it goes back and resets to red. So now I have my gyro working. With the gyro in the red mode, this is the normal mode. You can also double click the button and it'll turn green. That'll put it into the AVCS mode. I'm going to drive it first this way, and then we're going to see what it's like to put it into the AVCS. First test drive shows, honestly, this thing drives pretty well. I was able to run the gyro gain up to about 70% before I started getting some wobble. That is with, I have the RevD RSST gyro in there, so it has some dampening and everything like that built in. But in that 60 to 70% gyro gain range, honestly, the car was very easy to handle, drove really nice. I'm gonna switch it over to the AVCS mode and see if it's any different. Should be 2 button presses. I thought it was supposed to change color, and maybe it did. Maybe it's a different shade of red. Maybe it's like a pink now. It says purple. Hey, Reefs RC, red and purple look really, really close. I know there's red-green color blindness, so maybe you were trying to avoid that, in which case, high five. Like, thanks for thinking of people. Red-purple, I honestly didn't think it changed at first, so maybe you need to consider there's a different color maybe that we could play with. We now have a slow return mode. So let's see how that goes. AVCS mode feels good, honestly. Not a big difference. AVCS versus normal here. It took a little bit of the gyro wobble out. Honestly, at the 70% kind of range in the gyro gain now, where I was getting some noticeable wobble in the normal mode, it took it out. Car still drove well. Honestly, pretty happy overall. Is this testing that I'm doing useful for you? If you like it and you want to join and be part of the Roadside RC community at a deeper level, I do offer memberships. You can go down below and click that join button, and you can see the 3 different options of memberships that are available. And thank you to all of these folks all around the left side of the screen here for already being members and joining the Roadside RC community. So now our challenge is to take it and put it in place of the Hackslider Mini that's currently installed on this Live to Drift micro drift chassis that I'm in the process of working on right now. So no body, no anything like that. Wires are a mess, car's a mess right now because we're still in process with it, but it has the Hackslider on it, which a lot of people think is clearly related to this gyro. So I'm going to fire this up and drive it first with the Hackslider on it, and then all we're going to do is swap out gyros and see what the difference is. So what you see there is that I'm still really getting this small micro chassis set up, and it just has a standard servo in it, nothing drift specific, which means I have to run really low gyro gain. When I first drove it there and you saw the tires wobbling a lot, that was only at 40% gyro gain. I had to crank it down into the 20s in order to get it to not wobble, and then at that point the car is dang near impossible to drive. So clearly, I mean, but honestly, I haven't even done anything with this chassis yet. It's literally like out of the box. Some more work to be done on it, but in a difficult situation like this, is the Reefs RC Gyro any better? Let's get it installed and test it out. Now the good news is this is actually a rather easy swap, since the two gyros use the same kind of plugs. It means all I got to do is just swap the plugs over and mount the gyro, and I should be good to go. And the good news is the car is immediately more drivable and doesn't have as much gyro wobble. So let's crank it up a little bit and see what we can get. Well, hey now, that was so much better. Yes, it may look like the Reefs and the Hackslider Mini come out of the same factory, and maybe that's true. Maybe they do. But there is a difference when it comes to the actual programming in them. I can say that. I just showed that as a fact, as it turns out. So, end of the day, all said and done, do I recommend you buy the Reefs RC Gyro? Maybe. Okay. If you are looking to try a different gyro, you like the super small package for whatever reason, and you're not looking for the ultimate in performance, maybe it's a good pickup. There's so many other gyros in the 10th scale market, though, that I would probably still recommend that you get instead of this one. So if you're in 10th scale, and you can get like an Onsinki Daruma, Yokomo V4 maybe. Obviously, I'm a big Futaba fan, so old 450, maybe the 470, definitely the 550, all are better than this, okay? They all have better control. They're all going to give you better performance on a 10th scale level. On the micro side, there's not that many micro gyros that are widely available. Some of them are only available from like some import places like AliExpress. Widely available in the US, it's basically kind of like the Hackslider Mini and now this. And I think it's better than the Hackslider Mini. So I believe I'm going to keep it on my micro drift car, get more experience with it, continue to use it there. I hope this video was useful for you. If you have any questions or anything about what I did or how I tested it, please leave them down in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond. So thank you for watching. Goodbye.